My panel for this part of the show is Anand Mahindra, who was, of course, present along with Obama for a very important panel on entrepreneurship. Along with him, T.P. Chopra, who was one of the people in the audience as an entrepreneur himself. We've got Chanda Kochhar to talk about some tough statements made by our Prime Minister. And then we've also got Arun Maira to give us the story ahead. Mr. Mahindra, let's start with you. Do you feel that Obama has actually shown the olive branch through the medium of business and entrepreneurship, and that this will now be the big bedrock of relations ahead?
Shaili, the intention behind that session with the President was for him to understand what was the interlinkage between US innovation and technology and Indian innovation. So his prime focus, I have to admit, was to see whether there was an opportunity for US technology to be employed by Indian innovators to create new business models which would, while making profits, also attack certain pernicious social problems.
Mr. Mahindra, what is the big innovation exchange that the countries can do? I mean, here it certainly seems there's a lot that was discussed, but truly what would be the deliverables when it comes to innovation and technology, technology sharing?
Well, that's an interesting question because it addresses the concept that I tried to convey to him using the electric vehicle example. So what I suggested to him was that even though I believed that new transportation models would be needed in countries like India and China far more desperately than in the US, that the US could serve as a laboratory, as a template creating place, for example. So I told him that our intention in Mahindra was to use a city in the US, a progressive city like Cambridge, Massachusetts, for example, where MIT could be a research partner, and create a paradigm of a transportation system which could then be transplanted and scaled up anywhere in the world.
Interesting. The use of US as a laboratory. Let's get one of those entrepreneurs who's actually just left GE recently and become an entrepreneur. T.P. Chopra, thanks for being with us. Let's talk about what kind of fascinating ideas are we seeing that are going to emerge as the beginnings of the real exchange relationship. Which sectors are we talking about?
There was a fair bit of discussion around areas such as energy, specifically in terms of solar, in terms of innovation with regards to clean cars and how electric vehicles are coming into this economy. We had a discussion around new technologies in water technologies to provide clean water, not only to the big cities, but especially in rural parts of our country. Some entrepreneurs were talking about new technologies coming out in the United States, which are being adopted in products being made in India, especially designed for the rural market.
What does Barack Obama want from India? What could India provide as innovations, potentially be a hub for American requirement on intellectual capital?
You know, everything on this trip did come and stem from his very, very strong preoccupation with job creation in the US. Let's not forget that. That was his dominant mindset. And so in this meeting that we had, he was very, very interested in seeing how small and medium businesses in America, through their innovations and their technologies, were going to be able to deploy those technologies profitably in India and scale up their operations, thereby creating more jobs in the US and perpetuating the US core competitive advantage as an innovating country. That, I think, was his real preoccupation.
So basically you're saying, make no mistake, we know what Obama came with in terms of his business thinking, and let's not forget that. T.P. Chopra, even as we look for potential relationship building on this front, business exchange, innovation exchange, intellectual exchange, what do you think are the challenges for entrepreneurs in today's world?
The reasons why I feel that government or no government, that the time is right for entrepreneurship in India is, one, there is a lot of capital flowing into this industry from private sources to support the growth of entrepreneurs in India. Two is there are a lot of new technologies being developed in India and in the United States and other parts of the world where we can actually take those technologies and bring it to India.
Anand Mahindra and T.P. Chopra, thank you very much for joining us. The innovation story and what India and America can do on that one. Well, next up is Obama and outsourcing, and I've got Chanda Kochhar of ICICI and Arun Maira, Planning Commission member, with us here on the show. Thanks for joining us. So, Ms. Kochhar first. We're not in the business of stealing American jobs. Big statement from Dr. Manmohan Singh, a powerful one. How do you read into that?
Well, I think it was a clear indication to say that every country has its role to play in the world economy, and that's what each of us, even US and India, should think of doing. Because what we are doing with our part in technology and technology-led industries is really helping the American companies improve their productivity. On the other hand, all the infrastructure investment that is required in India in a way creates a market for US and helps create jobs in the US, as you have seen arising out of the large deals that have taken place. So I think it was a very candid and a clear statement.
Mr. Myra, let's look at market access. We want access to your markets was US President Obama's clear statement at multiple forums. How do you read into the piece, and how is it likely to actually go to the next stage? What can we do together where both benefit?
I think we are recognizing both sides that we need each other. We need access to the US market. It's very attractive for us. And Obama, of course, is confirming the other side of it, that they need our market. We need each other.
What's the thinking, Ms. Kochhar, of the business community on the political overtone? Because eventually, business can only be done in a stable environment, and therefore what's happening in politics will have a direct impact. How do you read into the politics of the business of this visit?
Again, I would say that, the statement that was made was that every nation has an interest in ensuring a peaceful world. I guess that's a very practical way of putting it, and that's how we should kind of take it. My view would be that while some of the political realities would stay and we have to handle them and tackle them separately, but at least let's not get the economic cooperation overburdened with that. So I would not say that the economic cooperation will solve the political problems, and I would also not say that we can run away from some of the political realities. We really need answers for some of these, but at least let us believe that we can work on the economic cooperation side simultaneously and let that not get overshadowed by the political considerations.
Ms. Kochhar, how big a role could India and the US jointly play in the global currency war, something that's happening as we speak at the G20? It's much in terms of the big theme, and there are big question marks still about who's supporting whom, and will they get actually support other developing nations on this one?
Well, not just global currency wars, but if you talk of the economy and the world economy, I think India and US together can play a very big role, because we have to remember that US is one of the largest, very large economy in the world, and is a large market for every country. At the same time, India is a growing and a potentially very large market for every country, and also that in terms of whether it's technology, whether it's industries, we have as two countries some very different complementary strengths.
Is this all led by potentially the search for a new model of doing business, and that will be one of reciprocity?
I do believe that both countries are searching for a new paradigm, a new model of an economy and a society. They are discovering that they have problems which they thought they would not have, in that they need to create jobs for people, and that their present form of economy is not going to produce enough jobs for people. That's a problem we have. We know that our economy is growing 9%, maybe 10%, but that is not producing enough jobs. The model of growth that we have adopted of economic management is very much one that the World Bank and the United States in particular, I would say not so much the World Bank, has been pushing across the world, and the economists are the best known economists in the world. But that model of the economy is not delivering even for the US requirements, and with respect to inclusion, has not been delivering for our requirements also.
Okay, Chanda Kochhar and Arun Myra, thanks very much. The discussion of outsourcing, business, the deliverables that we're all waiting for. Still ahead is a chat with Jyotiraditya Scindia about how Obama charmed Generation Next.